Welcome to Instantly.ai. In short, for people that don't know us, we basically turn strangers into revenue for some of the most ambitious companies in the world. So obviously, we've got like a big user base, and we have some companies that are maybe just freelancers, and some companies that are multi-billion companies as well, like your Sonys and Stripes, etc., etc. The way we do this is through providing software that just allows you to find your ideal customers, or ICP, as we call it, engages them and books meetings with them on autopilot. And just a quick intro to myself. Again, I'm Aaron. I'm part of the executive leadership team over at Instantly. I lead our VIP team, which is essentially our managed service arm. We've helped 700 plus fast growing organizations around the world scale their revenue through Outbound. And also, I'm quite active on LinkedIn, so feel free to follow me. I post like tons of stuff all the time and try to give as much value as possible. So for today's call, I'm going to run through a couple of things. Firstly, why cold email? I think before we jump into the specifics, it's good to understand why is this call happening? Like, why is this actually worth our time? And then how to rapidly close deals via Outbound, pro demo, and then just Instantly versus the entire Outbound space, essentially. So what we'll say first, in terms of, I'm just going to stop sharing, I'm going to freestyle this bit. In terms of cold email, I'm not going to lie, over the past couple of years, like most people think cold email is spam. It's where people send a ton of like horrible outreach messages that clog up your inbox. And and it goes unnoticed and it never works. What we found is that we have like a specific system and basically just a different way of looking at it. I think if you look at all of the channels to generate just new revenue customers, cold email is the only channel that allows you to target really specific people, qualify them, and give them extremely specific messaging based on like a ton of data points. And it's the only kind of solution out there that allows you to do that to millions of people a month. And I think that where a lot of people kind of go wrong is that they try and just kind of, I guess, pitch slap their business, which if you're maybe Forbes asking people for interviews, it works pretty well, or Chili Piper pitching your product. I'm sure it worked super well as well. But for most businesses, the best way to actually get success in cold email is to find an offer, like an offer people can't refuse. And that's typically the best way to do it. And that's the easiest way to take a stranger who's never heard of your business and actually turn them into a paid customer. And we've done this for tons of different people, loads of different industries. And just to show you some proof that, like, obviously the thing actually works, which is always handy. We had like a couple of clients here. So it's like in 90 days, it was like 191K pipeline, 1.2 million pipeline. And obviously, there's just a bunch of results just pulled up from dashboards for the call. But yeah, so like it works really well. It's a great channel, but you just need to use it correctly. And I think that in the entire outbound space and probably just the AI space, there's so many new tools releasing all the time. And I think sometimes it's really hard to actually progress because you're always looking at the next big thing. One of your colleagues says, oh, Claude just, I don't know, announced Fable or this thing's or Codex did this and this MCP is live. And you end up being in this constant optimization loop of trying to find and work out new tools. And that's the exact same for outbound. And kind of what we're trying to do over Instantly is just really simplify it because it actually is quite easy. And I think there's a lot of tools out there, like I'll take Clay, for example. I've been an avid Clay user for years and years, but it took me a year and a half to really master it, which is like a long time. And if you're a founder or someone that's looking to enter the cold email space, then obviously you want to try and drive revenue, not in 1.5 years, but really quickly. So yeah, and that's kind of the space we play in, where we're really trying to kind of target like the bigger, wider audience. to try and essentially curate a tooling set that allows people to scale, build their business, and book meetings within 24 hours. And that's our goal and what we're trying to do. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm just going to walk you through like the actual platform itself. So essentially, like within Instantly, it started off as like an email sequencer. Like there's a ton of tools out there, but we slowly began to build the full stack. So in here, you've got our kind of like bread and butter, which is Instantly Copilot. And this is where you can basically ask any questions. You can even set up your own outbound emails. Like it can scrape domains for you, like lists of domains that you want to buy, emails. You can get the best performing campaigns. It's kind of like the cloud brain inside of your own workspace. So that's something that people just use a ton of. You can even automate like a lot of these reports as well, straight into Slack or Teams or wherever you are. I can show like the automation part as well that we built in, but that's the first like segment of it. But onto the campaigns as well. So if I just go into like create a new campaign, like it's really simple. Like you just go in, you can add leads, you can build sequences, and then obviously you can create them straight from there. There's a ton of AI tools in here where it can build sequences for you. Knock that off. Obviously you can get templates in here that you can be using, like all the good stuff. Spintax checker, spammer checker, these two are like really big. So there's loads of things that you can do. And then to get really technical, you can add in like more advanced options of like stuff you want to do. So once you get really into it, then you can begin to get yourself involved in like ESP writing, but we'll not get into that today. But that's basically like a rundown of like the actual sequencer itself, which is the bread and butter of what Instantly was built on. So the next point is SuperSearch. So most people view us as a sequencer, and we've really changed over the last couple of years. So right now, like people will use like multiple tools. So they'll use might be Clay, but then again, you can't always use Clay. So you might scrape Apollo from Apify, and you push leads into Clay, then you enrich it, and then you push it to maybe like Instantly, or maybe it could be one of the other outreach providers, and then boom, you eventually run your cold email outbound. But with us right now, like what we built was we spoke to like all the top databases in the world, and we just installed them all inside SuperSearch. And I had a direct kind of say in how we built this as well. So I'll just walk you through like a current lead lists. Here's a good example, just to whip up one that's live. So like as part of Clay and as part of other tools, like you get the like waterfalling. So that's something that we added in. So you just have the ability to use mobile email providers to find more emails, because obviously like based on the tool, some of them will be like really prominent in the US, probably the easiest data to get. But then if you look at the European markets, it's a bit harder as well. And then when you go out to like all these different markets, then sometimes it's good to use different tools to then maximize the amount of data found inside the SuperSearch. And then once you get that, you can actually enrich the full profile. So you can find basically like all this data about the specific prospect. And then something again that I use the AI tools for is writing like just AI copy. I don't typically write like full AI copy. I typically use like AI variants. But in here, you can just use AI. You can research a company, like you can do all these different things. You can use templates that we've created, so you can find things about the companies, like loads of these in here. And then you can, let's say you're maybe reaching out to a marketing agency, rather than saying like, we're looking to engage marketing agencies, you could say, we're looking to engage, let's say, creative branding agencies that help music festivals get more attention or something like that. So when you write emails, like the biggest part is relevance. So the more you can really like personalize that down to say like, we're not looking to target marketing agencies, but we're looking to target SEO agencies. Then it could be SEO agencies that are based out in Colorado, And then it could be SEO agencies in Colorado that typically work with the hospitality niche in the Denver area. I don't know. But it's like these things that really help you build that relevance. And inside Instantly, we just basically made all that possible and shipped all these things. And this is stuff obviously that you typically would have to use multiple tools for, but you can now just do it on one tool, which is I think super cool. And then right after it as well, you can just add these like straight into a campaign, which is pretty neat. On the email account side as well. So I don't know how many people have had a headache of setting up emails in 2022 or 2023, but when you set up like emails to do like cold outreach, you need to buy the emails from someone. You need to set up all these settings, like connect them to a domain and put it in the email, and then it gets disconnected, and it's a whole thing. But for us, like we just internalized the whole team, so you can just like choose what you want, choose the domain names, or upload the CSV and get the mailboxes, and you just get added straight in, and then they go straight into warm up, which is where we just kind of facilitate AI interaction with the mailbox for 14 days to say like this is like a reputable real mailbox to build up the reputation. Because if you just buy something and launch them immediately, then Google, Microsoft, all these people will just mark it as spam. So it's pretty neat that we do that. And on top of that as well, we're building like more and more different solutions. So when you do outreach, like rather than just reaching out via Gmail, you might want to do it via SMTP, which is like a different type of email, or you might want to do it via Azure, and you might want to match these up to different email accounts. So when you're engaging prospects, you can actually automatically match these to kind of each specific prospect. So it just increases the amount of people that reply, essentially. So that's something that's super big inside here. So now moving into the really interesting bits. So what I've kind of described was like, I could get into the web visitor stuff, the CRM stuff, but I'm not going to do that today. The AI agents, this is the real stuff in here. So basically, like, if I want to run Outbound, like usually I would have to set up campaigns, build lead lists, go through all that process, learn how to write the best copy. But we've analyzed like billions and billions and billions of emails sent through a platform. I think it's like 1 billion a month that gets sent through a platform minimum. I don't know the exact amount, but we took all that data and trained it on our own AI sales agent. And I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, but within my VIP team, the AI sales agent with our like framing and with all the guidance is actually outperformed the team, which is kind of nuts, which I find quite scary. I never really thought it could get that good, but that's basically what it's done. And the way you set it up is just like this. So I just hopefully I've got the domain here. Just type that in. Great. And then this will basically just activate itself, wake up, and then all that's doing is it's understanding your business, and then it's going to just straight up look for leads. And when you want, it can start engaging leads, and you can connect like whatever like meeting schedulers or anything like that into that as well, and then it can just book meetings on autopilot, quite literally, and it nurtures your leads. Like you don't have to get like a virtual assistant or maybe like get like an NAN kind of workflow and reply to leads for that. It all just happens in platform, and yeah, everything happens. So obviously, while this is getting set up just now, I'll just show you when I created earlier. So again, this is like something I set this up maybe 20 minutes ago, but basically it's already found leads, is looking for my approval to approve these leads to run. This is because it's in what we call human in the loop mode. And basically like it's doing its own lead search. It's beginning to like find leads in here, and then inside memory, it just pulls out like all the data, like the business offers, and then it can go into like customer profiles, guidance, This is where we add all the guidance in to improve it. And then you can go into the settings, you can add it into autopilot mode, find leads automatically. You can choose the accounts you want to use, the schedule limits, the basic deliverability. You can integrate it into Slack. So it's like you'll get like a notification of like its daily output. So let's say you're in sales, and you can just track that every single day. And then you can like add in webhooks to say like meetings being booked. And it literally just operates in autopilot. And let's say that maybe you have 3 different offers, you've got a partnership offer, you've got maybe 2 other ones, then you can like alter those agents to target all these different people on autopilot all the time, and it just doesn't stop, pretty much. And you just maybe need one person just owning that one thing, and it just increases their leverage to what they can do, really. And it's it's something I'm very proud of that we built. And on top of that as well, we also have an AI reply agent. These are more if you're running campaigns. So in terms of the AI reply agent, you can like set up training for that, and you can basically set up exactly how you want it to respond, everything like that. And you put it into human in the loop mode. You can have that inside of Slack where you can approve it, where basically it just says like, like we're going to send this, is this okay? Then you can go and alter it, because sometimes it might not get it right the first time. You just do like some back and forth, and eventually it starts outputting perfection. And then it just runs an autopilot and books meetings, and you can just get daily, weekly reports of how it's performed. And on top of that as well, deliverability. So most people neglect this part, which is actually the most important part. I've made sure we got this built because I think we can get into campaign creation, lead list creation, all these great things. But if your emails just don't go in the inbox, then it's kind of useless. There's no point in outbound. So this deliverability agent tracks like everything you're doing and basically just flags anything that's going to hurt your deliverability. And it can just improve it for you on autopilot. So this just is removed. And on top of that as well, we do automatic placements. So basically, again, it's like if you maybe have some like bounce issues, or if you have some issues with your like account, then you can run placement tests to see how are these emails actually performing, and then you can get like a live health score of that as well. So you can see everything that's going on. You can find domains that are maybe burnt out. You can replace them super quickly, add them back in. So that's kind of like a run through of how the AI agents run, the deliverability agent as well. And then just to run through one more thing, which I think is super cool, is we recently, I think where it is, we just launched our own, it's kind of like an end-to-end style automation where like you can add in triggers. So it could be like different apps that can run through, and then you can run like visual automations and then add like an action item where you can push them, like maybe you're doing like multi-channel LinkedIn outreach. So then you can push that over to LinkedIn as well, or there's all these different things you can run. It could go to like again Beehive, or go to HeyReach, go to High Level, HubSpot, anything pretty much, and I can go through that. So that's something that we're super proud of as well that we built. And we're just going to keep building and building more agents, building more into this. So basically you can just do everything in one place, and you just need to manage the system. You don't really have to create more campaigns. You don't have to add lead lists because they're just always updating on autopilot.